So I know I left you hanging a little bit at the end of the last video, which was like 2 weeks ago at this point. But what ended up happening with the Jacob Sockness saga was that while Jacob was on the train en route to Chris's house, Chris decided that he didn't actually want Jacob to be at his house. Maybe someone convinced him that it wouldn't be a good idea, maybe the public outcry of us telling him that Jacob was dangerous finally got through his thick skull, but Chris contacted Jacob and told him to return home. Thankfully, this did in fact happen, and as far as anyone is now aware, Chris and Jacob still have yet to actually meet in person. I just thought that I would get that out of the way as soon as possible, because I know that there are people out there who are worried about that. So now let's jump right into the Chris Chan weekly update, and we'll start by looking at Chris's personal Twitter. Let's see what he's got here. Oh... It's too early for this. It's too early in the video for this. Senpai, I can't. Father will be angry. He doesn't need to know, and this is Sonichu and Sonic, I guess. Aren't they brothers in Sonichu? I'm not sure how that works. I just discovered this from hashtag Lamented Musings today. I mean, the two of them are just friends, but I'd ship it. Of course you would. Love to get some Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, this is the My Little Pony card game thing that he draws for. Cards when I can, please. I think he's asking other people to make them. Did Christian just confirm Sonichu is gay? Sonichu was so anti-gay for like years and years and years. Apparently it was Batman Day on, when was this, September 21st. Nah, he's Batman and he's awesome. I'm not going to comment about how Chris missed multiple nuhs in that, because that would be pedantic. Hey y'all, I'm doing really well and good. On the OC expansion, it's going awesome. I'll reach 30 cards, no sweat. First note, the creator original artist of Chevelle Sonichu recently flew the coop, but I wanted them to see the completed card with what I had, and looking into Chevelle, I guess this is some sort of weird OC pony, even though it's clearly not a pony. Chevelle's mined with my powers for the flavor text. To the original artist who I had contacted, please email me your response of this card, and if you have any additional thoughts to me. Thank you. That aside, I have gone through and matched, identified, learned of all but 4 of the OCs in Super Crazy Crash's collab piece. I'd like help identifying and locating their creators for their respective inputs. And then he lists the Sonichus that he doesn't know. He doesn't know who this Blue Bat is. He doesn't know who this guy is. And he doesn't know who Pepsi Man's friend is, as he puts it. Pepsi Man's friend. DM from their respective creators here on Twitter would be preferred. I will keep a watch in both my regular and filtered inboxes. Thank you all for your contributions and awesomeness. So, I guess I can just say this part here, but Sonichu canon and lore is so confusing, both because of all the retcons that happened in the actual comics themselves, and because so much of it is told via Chris's YouTube account and Twitter accounts. Like, who is this? Like seriously, who is this? Chevelle Sonichu. This character is not in the comics, and yet it's apparently a canon Sonichu. There's actually a project going on in my Discord right now. I'll have a link to the Discord in the description, where one of my best users, his name is Ethnic Minority Chew, he's trying to post all of the Sonichu pages in order on his own Discord server, and then he's also going to try to find more information about everything that Chris has ever said about Sonichu on other sources, like on Twitter or YouTube and stuff like that, so that it can be one resource for anyone who wants to actually learn everything that they can about Sonichu. So if you want to help out with that, then please go on my Discord and contact him, because it's gonna be a huge undertaking to actually finish that huge project, and I intend to help, but it's probably won't be done for a very long time. Okay, back to Chris. Just to make the correction, the blue one is a dragon, not a bat. My mistake. Thank you to the individual who informed me. This is a dragon, apparently. Looks like an edgy Sonic. Hasbro, My Little Pony Season 10, sign the petition. Because, of course, Chris thinks that there has to be 16 seasons of the show because he has a vision from the other side. Alright, so, search anime, your gender, age, name, and Neko, and the first picture is you. So Chris said, I saw this and went for it as well. I almost ended up with a picture of Tomoko. Don't know what that means. So I guess that, anime female 37 Chris, whatever. So I guess this is supposed to be Chris as a cat. Also, this old gem made me laugh a lot. Laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. The song and my interruption. Years later, years later, is this still the stupidest thing I've drawn? No, absolutely not. I have drawn worse, the NSFW drawings, and even an update with Ren Skysoar in Robotnik's place. So this is from one of the earlier, probably the first or the 0th issue of Sonichu. He drew Eggman and he was singing a song that didn't rhyme or have any flow or anything like that. And then Chris drew himself laughing, saying, that is so lame, ha ha ha. I idol Sonic, I hate Eggman, ha ha ha. I'm sorry, but ha ha ha, that has to be, the stupidest thing I've drawn in my life. Yes, you don't need to lampshade that, Chris, we're all aware. I feel like I'm being really mean today, but I think that's mostly because of that first picture that Chris posted with Sonichu and Sonic hooking up, which I did not want to see first thing in the morning. I'm just beating myself up over this, but I feel compelled to say something now. Yes, I did indeed tell Jacob to return home, and yes, I made the following recorded statement. I have had a really rough day yesterday. My soul, aura, vibrations, and psychic senses were hopping the walls with me. I even fainted. Oh, that's not good. And Mewtwo had to possess my limbs to get me from my desk to bed. I crashed and slept for a few hours, and then to hear the more recent statement of him and my body just excessively heating up, counter-arguing as I could, but I just could simply no longer overlook the red flags of fated warning. There we go, we got to him. Chris now understands that Jacob is no good.
That's no good.
When your body gets hot like a Macargo, that's a Pokemon, and it hurts, you do not ignore it. Besides which, my senses and psychic links have been seriously going off on me like crazy recently. So mainly on that, I ultimately chose to send Jake back home, and I made the statement to make sure he gets the message. I am really sorry, Jacob. As much as I do love and care about you, it is simply too soon. Alright, let's look at what he posted. Oh, it's a video.
Okay, this is Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu, and I extend this message out to all the individuals who are actually not just all bark and no bite, wanting to intercept Jacob Sockness on his trip to Virginia, or at this point possibly back to California, because I'm pretty much going to tell him that the visit is off. I want you all to intercept and talk with him. Thank you.
Well, that was weird. That was actually really weird. Chris's speech is deteriorating, and that's not good. Maybe just because he was totally off the cuff there, on the fly, whatever. Maybe my speech is deteriorating. Maybe I should take more time off when I'm doing this Chris Chan stuff. All right, so this is the original message where Chris was telling Jacob to return home. He said, "It is fated and decided. Jacob goes back to California. There will be someone at the Chicago stop with a return ticket for him." Which unless he set it up with a Kiwi Farms guy or one of his fans, I'm not sure if Chris actually means that someone will be there with a return ticket for him, or he thinks that he was able to manipulate the midichlorians and create a return ticket out of nothing. Oh, so now he adds, someone please be sure to be there and intercept and turn him back home. Thank you. So he's just asking people to do it for him. He doesn't actually have a plan. He just hopes that someone will be able to do it for him. Everyone, I am channeling... totally don't know what that means. Whenever I see a weird name like this, I'm like, I don't know. Is that a My Little Pony? Is that some weird anime thing? Is that something from Sonichu? I don't know. Is that a CPU goddess thing? Or is it a person? I guess it could be a person. I'm channeling Michirora, whatever, of this dimension, 1218. He has a message for Jacob Sockness. He says, Jacob, I've watched you grow up after these many years and seen you develop. This trip you have been on was a test for you. You need to distance yourself from the temple that was your home to best get away from Jacoba's influence. But in your recent actions, I see that you are irredeemable at this point. Wow. Not even I can save you at this point. I've spoken with Magi-chan, Mewtwo, and our princess many times without your knowledge. We all knew that you were fated to make this sacrifice in the California to Chicago trip and the return trip. At this point, I do urge you to take the return ticket from your new and light-powered ally and return to California. Whoever this thing is a poison to you. To see you partner with him puts a tear in my eye and heart. Before we continue, let's see who this is. I am a dark sorcerer and chaos sorcerer. I practice different forms of magics. My mains are dark and chaos. I am a creator, destroyer, healer, and protector. This looks like some sort of crazy guy that seems like someone who would totally interfere with Jacob's life. You know very well that our Princess Christine Fehuni, whatever, is a most valuable individual who holds greater strengths and powers than you. And I hate to break it to you personally, but your involvement in the merge has been very good, and you shall continue as you will in these events that still will make it happen. Magi-chan has made it happen with Christine's help in getting himself fully into this dimension. Anyway, my student, your decisions at this point are not the right ones. I urge you to rethink about things. We will see you back to your home in California safely and well. Our princess does care about you with all of her being. That is a fact. She never lied about that. That is all I shall say to you. Be safe and well, Jacob. Mashiro. I'm assuming that Mashiro is from Jacob's weird lore stuff. Do you know that Jacob actually wrote a book containing all the lore for his weird cult thing? And he has it on Amazon to buy, and it's extremely expensive. So that's funny. At least Chris puts his stuff out for free. So that was apparently a message from Miss Shiro person talking through Chris, and now we're back to Chris talking. I have had to execute the decision in this crossroad of events in all this. I'm not feeling happy about this at all. I cry for Jacob as well. He is in a situation worse than I was in that trip to Ohio in 2009. That's when a troll convinced him that he had to go to Ohio to save, his online girlfriend, but none of it was real, and it was really bad, and that was not a good thing that happened to Chris. I did love and care for him. I still care about him. I had no intention of stringing him along at all. I am seriously feeling everything. My health is in issue as well, discounting the accusation from that unrecorded voice chat, non-legitimate evidence. I don't know what that means. That's interesting. I'll try to find out more about that. I ended up in no healthy situation on my part to be able to have a guest. This was fated to happen, and in seeing his present true colors, while I do still care about him, I feel saddened and disappointed with Jacob in this outcome. And taking into account having seen everything he has done since 2000, and he was reforming and doing better, now this. And this genuine, unmanipulated emotion from me, period. I truly do feel this way. Even though I'm immortal, I can still feel pain. Oh boy. I've never actually seen Chris directly claim to be immortal before. That's just great. It has been hurting and burning in me. Now it's worse. Months ago, I even foresaw and told Jacob that he and I were more likely to end up in a distanced ship where he hates me. How is it a ship if he hates you? More or less, like my brother Cole Smithy does of me. I like how he thinks Cole Smithy is a hashtag. I told Jacob my premonition. He remained adamant of him and I being in a good relationship together, so I had little choice but to continue onward and see what fate had in store for us later. Now the premonition has come, and Jacob is feeling lost. I am feeling upset that it did end up as so, and he is hurting because of me. Who the is Mishiro? I agree. I completely agree. Okay, so now we need to look at this YouTube video. It is called Awkward Cast Season 3, Episode 53, featuring Emerald Comet, Chernobyl, Climate Change, and a Puppet. This is from a YouTube channel called Any Entertainment with around 21 subscribers. This video has 1,000-ish views and only 16 up thumbs and 15 down thumbs. Now, here's the thing. Chris was apparently watching this, and he said, "Oh, there's someone special photobombing in this video. For the record, the camera tends to add an animated flare. Magi-chan is more realistic in person. time code 3210. Okay, so we're going to jump ahead to 3210. Okay, so this is 3210. You can see it down here. These people are talking, and as you can see, there's absolutely nothing in this general location on this bottom left guy's screen. But if we go over to Chris's Twitter, we can see that someone has horrifyingly drawn magi-chan standing beside the guy, with his hand on his shoulder and one eye half squinted. This looks like a terrifying Five Nights at Freddy-esque depiction of someone lurking behind someone. God, that's actually scary to look at. Anyway, so Chris is using this as evidence that magi-chan is real because magi-chan was standing behind this guy in this podcast that Chris was watching. And then apparently something distracted him at 45:35, and now magi-chan is looking in a different direction with his hand still on this guy's shoulder. Yeah, I don't really have it, besides saying that that's concerning behavior for like the 10,000th time in the year that I've been doing this, I don't really have any commentary on Chris actually believing that magi-chan is behind that podcaster's shoulder other than that's concerning. Good news, everyone! Jacob is confirmed on his way back home now, and most humble gratitude to his new friends and a kind station manager. This is an example of how fate can work. The dimension merge continues onward without interruption. Thank you all for your help. Yeah, I guess it's just totally fate's ability that Jacob was able to return home after you told him to return home. Someone made a 3D model of Chris Chan, apparently. And Chris likes it. Super cool and super cute. Thank you. That's disturbing. Chris would like a Dreamcast too. Hey everyone, I'm recovering, feeling some better, but still very much vibrational and psychically sensitive. Anyway, I'm making good plans to attend BabsCon, and I will need money. Of course you do. And I will need money for the travel and accommodations. I remained most appreciative, humbled, and grateful to everyone who have donated recently as well. Thank you all. I'm going to roughly estimate 2,000 to 3,000 at this time, and, as this is fated, I am making the planning process with my friends. Your help in this is also greatly appreciated. There will be a trusted donation page, link tweeted in a little while, but I will also take direct donations to my PayPal at this. Thank you all again. So, Chris is going to yet another con, just a little while after BronyCon, and asking for more money because this is something that he does. Now, I've said this before, I think someone out there who's friends with Chris, please help Chris monetize his YouTube channel, because he could easily make something in this $2,000 to $3,000 range in a couple months of doing YouTube with the amount of views that he gets. And then he wouldn't have to beg people for money online, although he would probably spend the YouTube money immediately, so maybe that wouldn't work. Alright, so the reason that Jacob was going to Chris's house was for Barbara's birthday. So, here we go. It's Barbara's birthday on October 1st. A very happy and safe birthday to my mother, Barbara Chandler, who is now 78 years young. And at first I thought that Barbara was doing a peace sign or something, but it appears that she's just kind of holding up her hand very limply. She looks like she's doing fine for someone her age. Okay, so now we have some more details on this comic thing that's going on. The It's Also Ugly account is owned by a guy named Ben Saint. You might have heard of Ben Saint because he has a couple of YouTube videos on Chris Chan. He did this whole in-depth dive into Sonichu. He was one of the resources I used when I was first learning about Chris. He's now sort of trying to insert himself into Christory by writing comics that include Sonichu characters to make them like real in the dimensional merge. So he's writing these, and yeah, it's not something that I would personally approve of, and Chris is just talking about that a little bit more. Here is Chris's drawings of the New York skyline before September 11th, because we needed to see that, I guess. He drew this for one of his pony cards, and it's a tracing of this, so... Dear Hasbro, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic G4 needs to have its seasons 10 to 14 animated in chronicling, not just comic books. This is Celestia, Luna, and Princess Twilight's command, as well as the command of all the deities between both conventions. Yes, Jesus and Buddha are demanding that we have My Little Pony Season 10. To leave it simply as an IDW publishing comics is very much an insult. G5 must not air at all until after MLP Season 14 on television and published videos at Hasbro. Hashtag heed our words. I wonder what Chris Chan's going to do once G5 actually airs. Is it going to be another Blue Arms situation? Alright, so this is the Myers-Briggs personality test. It looks like Chris took it. He says, "Yep, I took it too." The two referring to the fact that magi-chan took it as well, and I'll be looking at magi-chan's Twitter account after this. "Apparently, I am turbulent. Given the dictionary.com app's definition of the word, I'm not sure I totally agree with it. It is what it is." I think I would agree with it. So, your personality type is protagonist. Of course it is. Because that's how Chris views himself. Because he has no empathy for other living beings. Yeah, I'd say that Chris is probably extroverted, given that he's put the majority of his life on the internet. And he definitely feels instead of thinks. I'm not going to look into this too hard, because you can totally just fudge these numbers and stuff. But his personality type is ENFJ, which I believe is extroverted something, feeling judgmental something. I don't remember. All I know is that that's not what I am, which makes me happy. Alright, so Chris has made some more OCs. There's Pepper Chew, Elegantly Angsty, Misty Chew, Fantasarily, Jojo, and whatever. These are probably other people's OCs that he copied/traced. Because none of these are actually in Chris's normal style. And same thing here. And that is the end of Chris's Twitter threads for this week, so now we gotta move on to magi-chan. Alright, so this is a fan who's been drawing some magi-chan drawings, quote-unquote, for Chris. They're actually pretty, so like this is drawn pretty well, and it's pretty, aesthetically pleasing to look at. Made a wish, but didn't tell me what it was for. Hope it becomes true. And then, Chris likes this as pretending to be magi-chan, and says, "The images Hellena has been uploading chronicled the one day she and I shared together. And yes, I did spend the night. Her bed was comfortable." Oh, that's weird. Chris is pretending to have slept in this girl's bed as magi-chan. That's nice. Her bed was comfortable. "Thank you and your kindness and hospitality." Thank you for your kindness and hospitality. "My wish I made is coming true, as I had foreseen." Alright, so this is a GoFundMe for this child who looks like they're having some sort of medical issue. I'm sure that it's very sad, and I will not, blur this or anything, so if you want to go help Baby Noah's fight, you can totally do that. But apparently Chris donated money to it, and he said, "We've just donated for the baby as well. Saving a child's life is not a troll move. It was falsifying having talked with me." What does that mean? "Having talked with me and saying I told you to do something else in response to the present topic." What? Okay, so here's what happened. Chris asked for money to go to BabsCon, and this Twitter user said, "Actually, magi-chan and I were talking, and we agreed that the money should be donated to this GoFundMe for a baby that needs medical attention." And Chris got really mad and said, "Seriously though, never say you've talked with me to make up such a lame excuse. I sense your trolling habits are not malicious in intention, but even to make a mockery remains quite the insult. I will not block you, but know that Christine and I do feel insulted over this." Even though, at this point, Chris was back in his own body, so I don't know why he's talking in the third person. And then the original person said, "I didn't realize saving a child's life is considered a troll move." So, because Chris probably felt bad about this or was attacked for this, he ended up donating to the GoFundMe himself. "It is falsifying having talked with me and saying I told you to do something else in response to the present topic. It is comparable to you telling everyone you got a call from Trump to do this. And in no means whatsoever am I ever comparing myself to that dreck of an individual who presently occupies the seat of president. Anyway, Christine and I just helped the baby with a spot of money, a prayer and a blessing. That will be all for now." Nice damage control. Exactly. Perfect comment. Alright, good evening everyone. I come tonight to share something I feel is of utmost importance in the present moment, talking about the original, functional Sonichu Rosechu medallions accessories. For the record, only the one wielder of the respective functional medallion or accessory that transforms them and their descendants are able to access the magic within, respectively. This follows for any and all functioning Sonichu Rosechu transforming accessories. If the accessory is attempted to be used by someone else, if their intentions are good, they get blessed. If their intentions are bad or malicious, the accessory will backfire on the wielder attempting to use it. The reverse is applied for the bad intention types, such as the Black Sonichu and Licorichu medallions. Is that like licorice? I think that's supposed to be licorice. There is more power, usually, in the good accessories, as they contain light power in them. The opposing dark power can be quite powerful, too. See, this is the kind of Sonichu lore that we need to chronicle somewhere, because this is not explained in the comics. If one of these functional accessories is attempted to energize a weapon, though energy and success happens the first few times, it will eventually backfire and destroy the weapon, and the individuals piloting or nearby the weapon. The accessory remains fully intact and functional. This is always the case, regardless of timeline, dimension, or alt dimension. Varying details may apply. These accessories are filled with Chaos Emerald energy and power, and the later stone types that they got exposed to, the accessories and individuals tend to adapt to them, such as the Soul Stones. So, these wielded accessories are always leveling up with their respective owners. And the accessories' powers, not even Christine's, do not have powers of undoing or creation by themselves. So, no, simply wielding the medallion will not undo the cleansing rains or bring back or create the slime at all. What slime? This is the will of the deities. That is all. So Chris is basically saying that unless he explicitly gives someone permission to use his medallion things, no one can use them, and evil people can't use them. What? I'm recommended to follow? That's funny. And yeah, look, it looks like magi-chan got the exact same personality type as Chris Chan. I wonder why. And that is the end of all of this for this week. But that is not the end of the video. We still have quite a lot to look at as far as Jacob Sockness goes. So last time I told you about a YouTube show called Stay Lit Fam Radio, or Stay Lit Radio, or Stay Lit Fam, whatever, I don't know what their name is. They told me that they were going to be doing an interview with Jacob, and they told me on a tweet on October 8th that the interview would be coming up shortly. Jacob responded to this. He said, "I thought I canceled with this guy. I was only doing it if I had gone there to her house," her being Chris, "and we would have recorded the show in part and finished up live tomorrow after I'd gotten back from my original plans. Anyways, this is a dead end. I'm talking to Stay Lit Radio. We might reschedule at a later date when I'm actually there at Chris's house. I originally planned to interview from location and still plan to when Chris lets me visit." So Jacob is still under the impression that Chris is going to let him come to his house. Anyway, this interview was only going to happen when Chris and Jacob were together at Chris's house, so now he doesn't want to do the interview. Now, I haven't shown you all of these messages, but Jacob has been DMing me on Twitter since I first mentioned him in one of my videos, and I haven't responded or anything, which is why you can see this down here. But he sends me these very long, nonsensical paragraphs, and I'm going to read out the messages that he sent me at 12:48 this morning, when I was very much asleep, because I usually sleep after midnight. Jacob says, "I set up the interview at a time shortly before I left for Christine's. When she cut off the visit, she also killed the interview. The first part was supposed to be a video called with her, and the interview would be with the both of us. I would have a part 2 with view questions about the house and being around her for however long I was going to stay." So he's basically saying that interview number 1 was going to be him and Chris just talking to the interviewer, and interview 2 was going to be them asking Jacob about Chris's daily life in the house and stuff. "I will be attempting another visit. It'd be best to encourage this, and we'll finally get those long unanswered questions about her daily life and Barb's time when I'm in there." Absolutely not. It appears I'm the only one willing to actually stay in the house itself. That is not true. I know that there's plenty of people who would like to do that. I talked to the guy at Stay Lit Radio, and he might go and stay at a hotel or something and come to the house each day for updates. I bought a GoPro with all the goodies for several hundred just to capture the inside of the house of 4K. It will be rescheduled for whenever I get the money together and Stay Lit is able to travel with me to give this the best shot possible. The guy who sponsored the first trip got burned and won't do it again. So that makes me think that the train ticket that Jacob took together the first time he did not pay for, although he was able to buy a GoPro to film the inside of Chris's house in 4K. The interview is just a side quest for visiting Christine. Stay Lit knows me personally. So he thought it would bolster the station's new YouTube. Not sure his motivation. I'm traveling to know if she's gonna be, she being Chris, be companion material or not, and for the dimensional merger stuff at a later date, where we've decided that we could be around each other for long periods of time to go for the month and do the rituals and such. That would probably not be documented at all. So what Jacob's basically saying there is that he wants to visit Chris so that they can determine whether or not they can be in a relationship. And then at a later date, he would return to Chris's house when Satellite Radio would not be there, and they could do the sex rituals to make the dimensional merge happen. So, once again, Jacob is extremely dangerous and should not see Chris for any reason. He then sent me a picture, and I've already seen this. It's not that bad. It's just his face. Oh, we look a little sleeping Jacob. He wouldn't hurt a fly. That face is love. No, that face is a sociopath. I'm very soft. Who will be here to hug me? He sent me that at 4 a.m. this morning. So, yeah, I'm going to minimize that because I would very much not like to ever see that again. And that is the end of all the updates for this week. Okay, I have one more thing to talk about before this video ends, and that is Mkay Our Night Bee. I've previously talked about her in videos before where I called her a troll and said that she was white knighting for Chris because she was talking about things like being CPU red heart, and she had this little banner here that looks very much like a Chris Chan thing because of the different colored eyes and the magical girl aesthetic and stuff like that. I've actually been in contact with MKR recently, and we've actually talked for quite a while, and I've come to the truth of the matter, which is that she is in fact not a troll. She is, in fact, not a white knight, and she is just someone who, like me, and hopefully like you, wants the best for Chris, and I do not think that she is actually doing anything to harm Chris in any way. I want to deeply, deeply apologize to her for categorizing her as a harmful person in the past, and for anyone who has watched my videos in the past and who has contacted her and said mean things to her. I take full responsibility for that, and wish that that had never happened, and I never want that to happen again in the future. She is a very nice person, and I will be significantly more careful about things like this in the future. So thank you for watching. As I said before, there will be a link to my Discord in the description. There will also be a link to my Twitter. You can follow me at GiBi_Devin. I'll also have a link to my Patreon down there. Don't feel like you need to actually donate to that or anything, because I'm not really doing this to get money. Hopefully I'll be able to get a video out next week. I know I skipped a week this time, but that's only because I had to work this weekend at my real job. Go play Ukulele in the Impossible Lair because it's a really fun game. Hey, see you, goodbye.